I'm Richard Randall, and welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner-broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, with the market being a bit slower, what are most home sellers wondering about right now? With the market slowing down, is it still possible to get multiple offers on a home?
Well, yeah, Richard, I do it all the time. I did it a week ago. I mean, it's all about pricing at the end of the day. It's not how pretty the house is. It's not, even what the pictures look like necessarily. They can smell a good deal a mile away. The buyers can. The buyers know in their little micro market of what they're looking for, what is a good deal and what is not. And if you price the home, it doesn't matter what category it's in or what price range it's in. If you price it what I call very realistically, which to be fair is below current market value right now. We're in a declining market. Why? I don't know. So if you try to follow the market down, in the end, you're going to net less money. That's not according to Barb. That's according to the National Association of Realtors that said if you price high and slowly walk the price down, you're going to net less money. So I try to encourage sellers to price low and let the market decide what the price is. And it's always going to be more than you think. And so it's that there's a certain window that when you go on the market in the first 2 weeks, if you don't get the price right, you're going to be following the market down. And eventually you will get that number, but you would have gotten the most money had you priced it right out of the gate. So yes, there is a way to get multiple offers in even this market right now. And how do I know that? I have a bunch of listings that were taken back in foreclosures. I've had sellers that have sold homes very realistically for different reasons. I've got one client that I just sold where they had a lot of stuff. They weren't ever going to be show ready until they moved out, but they had a certain timing. They were going to basically empty the home, move out, put it on the market right away, and go to their next destination. And they wanted that home sold in 30 days. Well, right now, the average days on market is more like 90 days. So how did I do that? Well, first of all, we didn't do any inside pictures. Now, you would think that that was crazy and counterintuitive. However, I think it made the buyers very curious. The other thing is that we priced it below similar sales. That motivated the buyers that came and looked at the home and the 4 buyers that made offers on that home to make their best offer. And it ended up selling for $15,000 over asking price. And yeah, it wasn't beautiful. It wasn't house beautiful. It wasn't HGTV, but it was a good home, good bones, and a good location that really just needed fresh carpet to move in, drop your stuff, and get on with your life. And we were able to get 15,000 over asking price in just a few days. The same thing happens with homes that need work. If they're priced very realistically, they will sell. I think I've said this a couple times, Richard, that one of those VA repos was literally a crack house. You could not go in without signing a hold harmless agreement because there was too many hazardous needles and stuff like that on the ground. And they priced it very realistic. I was shocked. I honestly, I thought it was overpriced at $159 for 2,000 square feet for a crack house. I wouldn't have paid 20,000, but it sold for over 200,000. We have multiple offers. Phone blew up across 2 weekends. Oh my gosh. So there is a group of buyers that are looking for a lot of different things, right? And all you have to do, you don't have to tank the price. It's just a small adjustment that makes the difference between your house sitting on the market for 90 days, showing after showing. We don't like this. We don't like that. It's priced too high. It needs too much work. Between that versus, oh my God, that's the best deal for what I can get right now. And they come in and make their best offer. And you have multiple offers and you get them competing against others. So absolutely, I play mom against dad to try to get the most money. And these homes were not pretty. They needed work. They were sold as is. The buyer didn't get any repairs, no matter what they asked for. But many of them still had multiple offers. So why is that happening? It wasn't that the house was perfect. It was that the house was priced right. We just did one that really wasn't in bad shape, but other homes that were priced in that neighborhood were 40,000 or higher and just sitting on the market, kind of like collecting dust. So we priced it 40,000 below similar properties in that neighborhood and sold it for cash in 4 days. Okay. Why did that happen? Because the buyer found that that was the best deal. And oh my God, I had the buyers that were too slow on the draw to go look at that house and make an offer, call me and complain and go, is it really under contract? My agent was supposed to call you and she didn't. And I'm just like, that's not my problem. It's been on the market for a week. Where you been? And she's like, well, I have to do everything. I have to find the houses. That's another thing. These buyers agents, they're making all this commission, but they're in react mode. They're waiting for their buyer to tell them, oh yeah, I want to see that house. Well, guess what? That buyer had been looking for a home for 3 years in that location. Her agent must have known that, but her agent wasn't looking for a home for her. She found it. She was late to the party. She didn't get the house, right? So it's sad for me to say, but it's 1 month of school to be a real estate agent in this state, and they don't teach you how to do things like find the house for the buyer. Anyway, they rely on the MLS, which we all know the MLS hasn't sold any homes in my view. Okay. So let's talk about pricing because that is the number one driver when it comes to getting multiple offers. I'll tell you another story. I had a listing last year, Rock Rimmon, pretty house, great location. It was only priced a small percentage below similar sales. And he called me, he goes, do what you did for my neighbor, do the exact same thing. So we did that. We priced it below similar sales. We put it on the market. We had 63 people at our open house. We had 4 offers, and 3 of the offers were 50,000 over asking price. Now, in that case, the seller's like, Barb, I don't think the buyer's agent did anything, so I'm only going to pay him 2%. I said, it's up to you. It's your call. It's negotiable. So buyer number 1 that paid 50,000 over asking, their agent insisted on getting 3%. And if they don't get 3%, they're going to take their buyers somewhere else. So he did that. There were 2 other buyers that were fine with the deal, $700,000 sale. It's still $14,000. It's not a bad payday for, walking through a house for 10 minutes and filling out a 10-minute form. But anyway, the seller got an anonymous letter, probably from the first agent that decided to take his buyer elsewhere, whining about the commission, because there's a lot of agents that are not trained on how to negotiate their own fee, either within the contract or from their buyer. Why does the seller have to pay for everything? So anyway, that was fun. I had a good time with that one. But really, a lot of sellers tend to pick this target price based on what they need at their next destination or how much money they have to put in their pocket in order to buy their next home. And I wish it worked that way. I would like to do that. Maybe if we ever go to Florida, I can say, all right, we need this much, so I need to sell my house for this much. But it doesn't work that way. It's about what the market will bear, because it's not the seller deciding the price. It's the buyers that they get. And if you get more than one buyer bidding on the home, you're absolutely in the catbird seat because you can pick the best buyer. But there are some home sellers that say, well, we should price it high in case they ask for stuff, in case they negotiate. Well, that's not, it doesn't work that way. They're going to do it anyway. But if you price it below market value, guess what? The buyers come in with all their cards on the table and they hit you with their best shot. Then you get to pick the best buyer. I've done this for years, but not everybody listens to me, and that's okay. I'm fine. I'm happy to be where I am. So here's what happens if you overprice. You don't have very many showings, or you get a few, and the buyers the buyer's feedback is like, well, I don't I didn't like the floor plan, or it needs work, or it needs cleaning, or whatever they're saying. Okay. Honestly, I don't think it's a floor plan because we publish the floor plan on our listings. But if the home is sitting on the market with very few showings, what's going to happen is you're going to slowly but surely, maybe, walk the price down and you're going to net less money. You get the most money by doing the opposite. I know that seems crazy, but it works. And guess what? The listing agent doesn't decide on the price. The seller doesn't decide on the price, even though the seller authorized the asking price. It's the market that decides what the home is going to sell for. It's also not Zillow. A lot of people think Zillow is the gold standard for value. Oh my gosh, that drives me crazy. Now, I will admit that Zillow has 65 to 70% of the buyer's eyes. But you know what? Zillow is not the MLS. They're a tech company. Do you know what their mission is? The way they made billions of dollars is selling buyer leads to real estate agents. That's all they do. But they have a good website and they make the buyers raise their hand. The Zillow sells the buyer lead to real estate agents. The agents pop tart out of the toaster, run to the house and show it, and hope and pray that the buyer is willing to buy that home. And that's how Zillow works. And it's they think they can present the estimates or the home values out there, and they think that works, but it doesn't work. Most of the time they're way off on price. And so what happens when you rely on Zillow is you're going to have people showing your house that are basically overpaid door openers. The agents get a maybe buyer. The seller gets strangers coming through their home that may or may not be able to buy because the state of Colorado does not require the agents to verify that buyers can buy when they go show homes, which to me is just a whole nother level of insanity. But that's the world we live in here in real estate. So what if you got the most money? The way you do that is you get the buyers to make their best offer. And we know exactly how to do that. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how do you get multiple offers? And when we come back, we're going to talk about some ways that can help you attract the best buyers to your home. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker, host of the program and owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can always reach Barb at 719-301-3900. And we're talking with Barb about how to get more than one offer on a home and be able to choose the very best buyer from them.